Hello, welcome to another Save Your Books live streaming video. Guess what? We finished Emily of New Moon and we are moving on to a brand new topic. I'm going for vintage children's books. And that's partly because I have a grandbaby and she was probably going to want to read these because I thought they were super fun when I was little and my daughter liked them. So that's what we're going for. Let's see. I am making sure I get the chat up, and here we go. I am clicking a thing. Now, my chat is up. I will be able to see you if you have anything to say, and that's for everybody. So, welcome. I'm Sophia Bogle. Some of you may not know that. I have been restoring books for, oh my gosh, I'm going to say 30 years now. Yikes. I have a diploma in book conservation from the American Academy of Bookbinding. I did bench training and studied with someone so that I, had hands-on experience, which is really the best way to learn. While you can't learn this from a book, I did write a book. It's not a how-to book, but really, if you ever wanted to actually do book restoration, you would want to read this book because it gives you the background and the foundation and the information that you need to make really crucial decisions about whether or not to restore a book. And it's funny, I don't have a copy of it right here. But what I do have is I have this to show you. This is interesting. If you know how to sew books together, I actually have a print to sew version of my book. You buy it on saveyourbooks.com, print to sew version, and you buy it PDFs. They come to your mailbox, and then you can sew the book yourself. And it even has a thing for the dust jacket or the cover, which you can use in any way that you like. But that's just a fun thing that I did. I went to extra trouble to create the PDF thing so that, the signatures would come out correctly. So you have 4 pages, everything's all nested together. And it's only $15, I think, $14.99. So you can look that up if you do know how to bind books. That might be kind of fun. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I don't know if any of you have read Richard Scarry or like Richard Scarry books, but I just really loved them growing up. And I was going through my shelf, for my grandbaby, kind of looking around going, what have I got here? What might she like to read? And I came across these, and both of these are missing. They're missing their spine. The spine is gone. And both of the books, the spine is missing. And on both of the books, the interior is fine. And it's kind of confusing because you're like, typically you take a book apart and then you put it back together, fixing the spine up like we did for Emily of New Moon. But in this case, we don't want to take this apart because it's really solid. We do want to maybe erase the pencil marks that are on here. That might be a thing to do. There are some little phrases in French. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Quelle est la date? Oh, il est the 16th. 17, 18, 19. How do you say 16 in French? That's weird. I can't remember. Anyway, Novembre 1900. I can't read that. Quatre. Yeah. Anyway, it's funny to see what's in here. Oh, uh-oh. I found a page that has been torn out and is completely missing. That is so sad to just find that. Boo. Well, we may wind up talking about how to replace this because there are ways. There are ways and there are ways. So we'll see about replacing that page. Hopefully we can, you know, find a beat up copy where that page in particular is not beat up and just kind of swap it in. That's one way to go. Or find somebody who has a copy of the book and just make a photocopy, although this is bigger than 8.5 by 11. Maybe 11 by 17. Oh no, yeah. This is enormous paper, and so that's going to be hard to just get a copy of it to stick it in. So finding a beat up copy of the book and replacing it is going to be the easiest way, since it's not so easy to make a copy, unfortunately. And I mean, that's the first thing you should do whenever you want to repair a book, is flip through it, see how bad it is, see what you're actually dealing with. This one is not so bad. At least there are no pages torn, missing, falling out. And I brought this book out. This book does have the spine. And I thought you'd like to see kind of where we're going. In order to do these, the typical way to repair something like this, what people do, you know, before you know any better, is they'll just put tape over this. And there's kind of nothing wrong with that in some ways, although the tape covers some of the original material. There's really no need for that. At the very least, you could lift up the original material and tuck the tape underneath and then glue the material down. And yeah. Anyway, and yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And what's important to note here is that this spine piece, this spine strip, the book binding spine, this is made out of binder's board, the same as this binder's board. And so what we want to do is we want to recreate a strip of cardboard, basically. I'm going to call it cardboard, binder's board. I'm trying to think what else you could use. Anyway, you need to create that just like this one, and then put the new spine material kind of over that. Right, and then the trickiest part for this whole thing is going to be, how do we get it, you know, tucked in to here and around the spine in this weird over the boards, but not over the book, the text block. It has to get tucked in. I'll draw a picture of that. We'll get a good like a diagram of how that actually goes. Eventually, I'll get to that eventually. So for today, I wanted to also talk about how when you're working on stuff like this, is this a first edition? Like, if this were a first edition, it would be worth, well, I don't know, a lot more money. We could look that up. Go on eBay and see what a first edition of this has sold for, if they can even tell that it's a first edition. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how do you tell if a book is first edition, because it can be very much not obvious. Hi, Jim K435. Yeah, so first editions. When I was, oh my gosh, so many years ago, working at Anthony's Bookshop in Minneapolis, right near the University of Minnesota, I got this book. It's a little identification of first editions. Many of you may recognize this. If you are a book collector, this is like your go-to thing you would have in your pocket when you went to a book sale, and you would pull it out and go, oh, quick. Charterhouse Publishing has NAP, and like, what was NAP again? And you have to look up what that means. And anyway, this was the way to tell if your book is a first edition. And nowadays you can look it up online, I'm sure. But I just purchased from Crooked House Books in Portland. I purchased this first edition's A Guide to Identifications. They just happen to have a copy. And this shows the information that we need to be able to tell if this is a first edition. And so I'm just going to look on the first page. Here, I'll do the hands-on. Okay. So what I'm looking for is the, information about the publishing. And so there's a lot of information. Copyright 1976 by Richard Scarry, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Random House. Okay, Random House Inc. But even without, I realize that it's not very large. I'm going to move that up so you can see a little better. And what I'm looking at, what I spotted right away, are that these numbers here, it says 7890. And to me, right away, that's not a first edition. It's the 7th edition. Whenever there's a series of numbers or letters and it doesn't have an A or a 1, it's most likely not a first edition. So you just gotta go, okay, definitely not a first edition. I don't have to worry about whether or not, I should be trying to restore the spine with an exact copy of the original spine, to make it look better and have it be more original. Things like that. So it's just something you need to know in order to consider your options. And in the case of, let's see, we'll go back down here. We've got Best Mother Goose Ever. And this is Western Publishing Company. And for Western Publishing Company, I'm just going to read what it says here. First editions at Golden Books, which is his Golden Books or Golden Press. First editions at Golden Press, which publishes children's books. Our printing code is shown on the last page or inside the back cover of each book. First printings, first editions bear the code A, B, C, D, E, etc. Second printings then eliminate the letter A, and so on. So that's what we're talking about. And so here we are looking at Golden Press, and I'm going to the back, and look at that. Oh, there we go. PQRST. There's no A on that. So it's kind of a relief to just go, I don't need to worry about these being first editions, and yet I want to fix these books because they're fun. And so I'm going to put new spines on them, and I have to decide how I'm going to title the spines, because it's easy to put a new black spine on, black being just kind of goes with everything. You don't have to wonder if you're going to match the red or match the yellow, although you could if you had something like that around. There's also, you have to think about things like, I could go to the craft art supply store place, and they sell book repair tape, and they do sell black book repair tape. And how would that even be? I'm kind of curious. I'm thinking I'll do one of these with book repair tape, but my way, not just sticking it over. And then I'll do the other one with book cloth, which doesn't have a sticky side to it. And we'll see which one's easier. So that's where I'm at with this. That is all I'm going to do today. I just wanted to talk about it and get started. But if you're interested in seeing how these books progress and get done, especially that part where I'm going to be doing the turn-in, which is, it's just hard to wrap your head around, please keep coming back on Thursdays. I'm trying to do this around 10:30, but, things come up. And just so you know, what's coming up in the Save Your Books world is that I am in the process of creating certificate courses for people. So I'm going to have a book repair for beginners certificate course, which is actually going to be a foundational course for later on. There will be other courses for book repair for book dealers. That should be coming out September at the latest. And fingers crossed, I really want to make sure that happens. And there's going to be a advanced book repair as well. And so I'm working behind the scenes. It's harder than you think. But yeah, it's going to be super fun. There's going to be, the reason you would take the certificate course is that you're going to have live office hours with me, so I can see what you're working on. And every lesson is, it's the lessons that are in the Save Your Books website right now. Nothing's kind of changing with that, but I've created PDFs for every one of those lessons so that you can have a physical record of what's going on with those courses. And yeah, anyway, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be great to get these certificates done. And there's going to be quizzes, and there's going to be, let's see what else. Anyway, the first version of this is going to be a beta testing version of this. So if you are interested in it, be sure to sign up for the Save Your Books newsletter. Go to saveyourbooks.com. Make sure you're on the mailing list because I'm going to be offering this for the least expensive price of all the future versions of this, because I need some help figuring this out. It's like, is 3 months too long for the book repair for beginners certificate course? I think it's going to be good at 3 months, but maybe you would prefer it if it was a 1 month course, or I don't know, longer. So you'll have to join in, let me know. And anyway, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for watching.